Nepotism. It exists everywhere, be it the corporate sector or Bollywood. A very dear friend of mine has been struggling in Bollywood for the past 6 years, and in all of his 6 years of struggle, only once has he landed a proper role in the movie. They prefer having a similar or a familiar surname, or maybe a well known name from the industry.
Whenever I hear the word nepotism, I feel favoritism is playing a major role in Bollywood industry, and a lot of talents are getting unrecognized because of this.
So, yes, I do feel that star kids are privileged and they do have an advantage over those who are not the sons or daughters of actors. But whether they last in the industry, whether they are successful, whether their future is bright, really depends on how talented they are.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to today's discussion on the JSJC Live channel. The topic for today's discussion is nepotism and Bollywood, and we have our panelists ready, our lovely panelists. So I'm going to introduce them. So with us today we have Konkana Sen. She's a former journalist with the Hindustan Times and the Femina magazine, and she covered the tab of lifestyle and entertainment. And our second panelist over here is Sayam, and he is an independent videographer and producer, and he's known for his short films about brands and people. We do have a third panelist as well, but I think there is some difficulty on his end with the network issues. I feel he'll be joining us shortly. So while he joins us, let's just, I guess, dive into the discussion. So nepotism is like the key word, the theme, the topic of 2020. So the question I'm putting out there is, do you think nepotism is crippling Bollywood? And like talking that being said, do you also feel, what's your take on the outsiders versus insiders challenge the celebrities face?
You want to go first, Konkana?
Sure. So, so what I think is that, to say that nepotism is kind of okay. Sorry for interrupting, but I think I just need to get this correct. My name is Konkana Jain, Konkana Roy Jain, not Konkana Sen. Konkana Sen is obviously the very, very famous actress. Um, yeah. So, having said that, nepotism is there everywhere, not just in Bollywood. It is a very, very apparent facet of our society. A businessman's son will, want to be a businessman, take over the business. And when it comes to Bollywood, I think much of Bollywood is constructed on the pillars of legendary families, whether it's the Kapoors or whether it's the Khans. So, to say that it's ruining Bollywood, I think is a little unfair, because whatever we see, a lot of that, has come from these families, has come from these people, whether it's the Chopras, it's the Johars, it's the Kapoors or the Dhawans or whatever. So, no. But at the same time, yes, do they have a privilege? Do they have an advantage? The star kids, yes, they do. The entry is so much more easier for them. But once they are in there, like Priya earlier said, I saw in the video, that then it's totally up to them. There are a lot of star kids who crumble under pressure, who are not able to deliver. So it's a very multifaceted angle, and one cannot really say that no, it should absolutely not exist, or that it should exist. It is a very, very gray area, and and I don't think it's completely not justified. I don't think it's not fair that, if your parents have worked really, really hard for something all through their lives, they wouldn't want to, extend that kind of a little bit of privilege to you. Every parent does that for their child, right? So why only put them on the fence and put them under fire, under the spotlight, and say, these are the villains, yeah, these are the ones who are ruining the industry. let's not forget that some of the greatest talent have come from, the so-called products of nepotism, the whole Kapoor dynasty. I mean, Ranbir Kapoor is one of the finest actors of our generation, and he comes from a Bollywood family. Alia Bhatt is one of the finest actors of our generation. She comes from a Bollywood family. Similarly, we have an Ayushmann Khurrana. Now, if the industry was that opaque as it is being said it is, of course it is. But it's not just opaque because of nepotism. It's not just opaque. It is not just difficult to get into the industry because there are star kids getting the advantage. It's also because the whole country, we are a nation that wants to get into Bollywood, that wants to get into films. So the competition is extremely, extremely stiff. The number of entrants are extremely stiff. So it is also because of that that not everybody gets a chance to be a Ranveer Singh or an Ayushmann Khurrana. But the fact that there is a Kangana Ranaut, Ayushmann Khurrana, a Ranveer Singh, I think it's said that the industry is somewhere not as nepotistic as it is being made out to be. Also, I think passing down your legacy is not such a bad thing. Yeah, that's what I
Karan,
would.
what do you think about it?
Sorry, did you ask me?
Yeah, yeah. I said, what do you think about the same? What do you think about?
Um, I think it is going too far when you say it is crippling Bollywood, but I do believe that nepotism does limit Bollywood in many ways. One is obviously in terms of the star talent that we have, because people on the outside don't have that equal right to opportunity that star kids do. And secondly, like Konkana said, since it is a very close-knit structure, in terms of the content that we are seeing that is coming out from Bollywood, I feel it just gets a little repetitive, and it becomes very redundant after a point when you're seeing the same sort of films or content or stories time and again with the same kind of people. So in that way, I feel like that whole the culture of nepotism really limits Bollywood in that regard.
Right. So I guess our third panelist has joined now. Welcome, Karan Soni. I'm sorry, I couldn't introduce you before because of the connectivity issues. So I'll just introduce you now. So Karan Soni is he's an actor and he has done short films and he's also appeared in daily soaps and he's also like performed like in theater and he's also successfully been anchored on the stage. So now as you've missed the first set of the question, that's all completely fine. Moving on to the next segment. So now as you just discussed about is nepotism crippling Bollywood. Now I want to ask you that see nepotism exists everywhere, right? In Bollywood, in other industries as well. Why do you think Bollywood is individually targeted and like not like the West? It's even existing in the West. So why do you think that it's only Bollywood that people pick up on and the media picks up on and it's targeted and it's spoken about?
I mean, it's the nature of the business, right? It's show business. So everything that the industry does, it's out there in the front for everybody to look open, to see and criticize. So hence, I feel like it's become such a big thing in Bollywood, although it does exist everywhere else.
Karan, what do you think about that?
First of all, apologies for the connectivity issue and all, and I did miss the first few questions and all. But then, see, nepotism exists everywhere. Rightly said, the reason Bollywood is targeted because it's transparent, it's out there, and especially in today's time, nepotism has been there forever. Back in 2000, when Hrithik Roshan did his made his debut. Back when a lot of child actors came, just because I think social media is so strong. Journalism has always been a strong point in India. You go to Hollywood. I've lived in the US. I did my masters over there, so I've seen things, but it's not that big of a deal out there. Over here, the reason ये चीजें target हो रही हैं, it's bizarre. Because today, if I have a business and if I retire, I would obviously want my son to take it over because I can trust him with the money. There's a lot of money factor which involves as well. And all these big directors, the Johars, the Chopras, and even they want to invest their money on somebody that they know. They don't want to invest money on a third party, which is again is sad because people go to Bombay with a lot of dream, a lot of ambition. I have faced it but I've made peace with it. So I think because of social media, the Instagrams, the Facebooks, the Twitters, and all, I think it has come into limelight, and especially with the Sushant's death. A lot of theories came out. I think it has been targeted really bad, and which is pretty sad. Uh, because if I think about myself, if I have money to invest even $100, I would invest with somebody I know, not with somebody I don't. So I think it's the media. It's pretty bizarre. I think journalism. I have done masters in media communications. I have done journalism as well. But when I look at the state of journalism in our country today, I feel bad. I think that's what I would say.
Right. So as you actually pointed out about different actors making it big in Bollywood. So now recently, as you must have seen, that there are a lot of OTT platforms that have come due to COVID, and a lot of shows and movies have been releasing on those platforms. And artists like Nawazuddin Siddiqui and Pankaj Tripathi, who do not have a background and like a star background, are making it so big. So do you think that it's time that the entire debacle over nepotism should actually come to an end, because all these actors who have no background are doing so well on platforms like Netflix and Amazon Prime?
No, absolutely.
Um,
And these are great actors. They come from NSG basically. And the more the merrier. I think OTT platforms have really helped. I think we should one take for all end this nepotism debate. So this is what I think: the more the merrier. The YouTube, different OTT platforms from Netflix to Amazon Prime. I think lot more character artists who never got their due before are coming into picture, which is great.
Kankana, you were saying something?
No, yeah, I mean, obviously, having more platforms does kind of help to expose the talent more. But again, having said that, we always had a Nasruddin Shah. We always had, for that matter, even somebody who's regarded very commercial, Shah Rukh Khan. He comes from a completely non-filmy background as such. So, the same thing that I'm saying, that that nepotism does exist, and like rightly pointed out, you would want to invest in people. You would, if you have created something, you would want to pass down that legacy. But there is enough space. If your talent is also a very, very strong determinant. If you are good, the public today is wiser, more accepting than ever before. And with social media out there, I think your talent speaks volumes for you. So the world is a lot bigger, even for artists. That's what I feel. Yeah.
Right. I guess I would really like to have a further discussion on this, but we are really running short on time, and we would have to end this over here. But I guess thank you all so much for being a part of this panel and being a part of this discussion. And yeah, your insights were very fruitful. So thanks a lot.
Thank
Thank
you.
Thanks,
you.
Ash. It was a pleasure, and apologies again for the
All
connectivity issue.
right.
But
All right. Thank you so much.
Thank
thank
you.
you.
All the best.